Welcome back, fight fans. Last time we took a look at Mexican super champion Canelo Alvarez, we had to pick and choose among Canelo's gigantic portfolio of fantastic fights. We're coming back with another highlight reel looking at some more of the highlights of Canelo's career. We'll be starting by going way back in time when a babyface Canelo Alvarez was just starting to challenge for the major belts. His opponent was veteran British boxer Matthew Hatton. Matthew is the younger brother of Ricky Hatton, former light welterweight and welterweight champion, and one of the most famous and prolific British boxers of all time. While not as astute as his older brother, Matthew still had some tricks up his sleeve. Fighting in Anaheim, California, the two fought it out for the vacant WBC super welterweight title. It was a major break for both fighters as it was the first time either of them were challenging for a major belt. Whoever took home the belt this day would go on to have a star-studded career. That Saturday night saw the rise of Canelo as a serious contender in the division as he absolutely destroyed Hatton. The larger Canelo seemed to outclass the smaller Hatton in every regard. He used his size and brute force to bully Hatton out of position, and when it came time to fight technically, Canelo looked faster and smarter with his punches, absolutely picking apart Hatton with a flurry of shots. Hatton met the canvas twice, but managed to survive until the final bell. Survive being the operative word. When it came to the judges, the winner was obvious. Every judge gave every round to Canelo Alvarez. With his victory, Canelo took home the belt, the first of many to come. 2 years later, Canelo was still on the prowl. He still had success fighting off challengers for his belt, but still wanted more. So he decided to challenge Austin Trout for the unified WAA belt, as well as the vacant Ring Magazine belt. He'd have his work cut out for him as Trout was lightning fast. Trout met Alvarez at the Alamodome in San Antonio, with both fighters putting their undefeated records and belts on the line. Fans were expecting a hard battle for both fighters and were not disappointed. Alvarez had power on his side, but Trout was the faster fighter by far. In order to land significant shots, Alvarez would have to slow Trout down. Trout's punches snapped at Canelo, with the early volume nearly swallowing the Mexican champ. When Canelo landed, it was obvious who was the power puncher between the two. He made his punches count, with each clean shot against Trout knocking his head back. The fight was fairly even, with both fighters able to take bites out of the other. However, Trout was the one on the attack, Canelo taking his time to secure more powerful shots. The exchanges were quick and vicious, but the most severe headshot came from Canelo in the 7th. With a thunderous right hand, Canelo sent Trout to the canvas for the first time in his career. Trout was down, but not out, and recovered well, going right back into the action to make up for the down. Trout was constantly on the attack, but the shots from Canelo were much more impactful. Canelo's caution proved to be the right move, as Trout was unable to put any significant damage for the rest of the fight, while Canelo was able to land his power punches when he needed to. Canelo's power made the impression it needed to. The judges all scored for Alvarez in the end, while everyone in the building, including Trout in the post-fight interview, seemed to agree that Alvarez was the better man that night.
A factor in today's fight, and he's saying if the opponent is here, he's going to fight over that opponent's.
The performance from Trout left doubts in a lot of people's mind. Canelo had the belts and kept his streak running, but still had something to prove. Alvarez had just gotten himself a juicy new deal with HBO, and the first fight of the deal went to James Kirkland. KO. Kirkland's intensity and power punching was well known throughout the boxing world. He was looking to drop Canelo early and convincingly. What makes this fight so memorable is his intensity. Kirkland wanted to bring the fight to Alvarez, but he bit off more than he could chew. Kirkland found early success with his aggression, but things changed once Alvarez started to return fire, dropping Kirkland with a nasty combination to set the tone for the rest of the round. Kirkland was hurt, and he couldn't hide it. Both men took some time in the second round to recover themselves, Kirkland from the damage and Alvarez from his energy. In the third, both fighters seemed to want to end it right there. Kirkland went right back into the fight, battering Canelo with combinations, but a single opening was all that Canelo needed to turn the tide. With a slick uppercut, Alvarez brought Kirkland right back to the canvas. He was able to rise again, but the damage was done, and it was time for the show to close out. Canelo sent a crashing overhead to finish off Kirkland for the night. After his victory over Khan, Canelo dropped back to light middleweight in order to challenge Liam Smith for the WBO championship. One of the trio of Smith brothers, Liam's reign as champion had a great start. His reign was to be short-lived as Canelo Alvarez came to the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, looking for the kill. That became immediately obvious to the viewers in the packed house as Alvarez ramped up the aggression from round one and never let up. Canelo went out into the ring and immediately started trying to take out Smith's body. Knowing he was the bigger and faster fighter, Canelo no doubt knew he had the physical advantage and needed to leverage that as quickly as he could. Smith's stamina started dropping early and he was never able to recover from the barrage he suffered early on. He fought back and started working back, but the damage was done and he lost the power he needed in order to take out Alvarez.
Oh, and a big body shot, and down goes Liam Smith!
Canelo put him down for the first time in the 7th and things did not improve for the British fighter. Canelo took him out with body shots in the next 2 rounds in order to take his 4th world title. A dominant and unforgettable performance from the champ. The fighting started with Caleb Plant a little earlier than expected. The two began their bout at a promotional event instead of the ring, with both men shouting insults at each other.
You will hear the words, and the new undisputed super middleweight.
Don't make excuses.
But somehow
Don't make excuses before the
You're a
fight.
cheater.
Don't make
You're a
excuses
cheater.
before
You
the
went to
fight.
trial.
When Caleb got a little too close for comfort, Alvarez threw the first hand by giving Plant an open hand slap. The two started brawling and were quickly pulled away. Everyone involved knew the fight was gonna be explosive.
And you will see, November 6th. You don't wanna fight now.
Canelo came in as if Plant's punches didn't exist and threw combination after combination at the young fighter. By this point, Alvarez's style of relentless aggression and body shots had become his bread and butter, and his fight with Plant was no exception. Plant began to break down, and it was easy to see the damage present on his body as the fight went out. While he tried to keep Alvarez at bay with his strong defense, nothing could stop the champion's advance. Round after round, Canelo put the pressure on. Plant spent the fight trying to weather the storm and managed to save himself from some nasty power punches, but was never able to put any pressure on the Mexican champion. At the 11th round, a clearly tired Caleb tried to pull out a miracle and got brutalized by a hook and uppercut combo for his trouble. This was the beginning of the end, as right after, Canelo finished him off with a combo that ended with a referee stopping at just a minute into the 11th round.
Finish off Caleb Plant, and down goes Plant, and this one is over.
Canelo left the ring as the undisputed champion, where he's reigned ever since. That's it for part 2 of this breakdown of Canelo Alvarez's career. As always, make sure to subscribe for more combat sports and MMA content. See you next time.